What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today, did you hear the bell? That means it's another beautiful day in the Market Watch. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. It's not going to be heavily edited. Seems that people watched more of it when it wasn't heavily edited. So I'm just going to see for a little bit how that's going to go, and I'm still having some family issues. So without further ado, let's get into the video and talk about it. So first off, none other than I want to talk about Shoutmon from Cross Encounters pre-release cards. So on the TCG market, it has started to skyrocket, actually get classified, bought out. We're looking at $44, $45, and $54, basically $55. And the recent sales have shown that, like, at the end of the month, they kind of just went and said, yes, I'm going to just buy this out. So right around January 27th, right before my birthday, people started buying a little bit more and more on the low ends, and it ended up being that it just got bought out. The card is good. You're going to be playing this, obviously, in any Crossheart deck for the near future that is focused around Shoutmon's Crossheart abilities. So I think at the end of the day, we're not going to have any issues with that. The low rarity is still dirt cheap, though. So Shoutmon from BT-10, though, on the Europe side, looking like €8. Not terrible. We're almost close to €9 here. The thing is, it's on low quantity as well. It's saying it's going down, but when you're on low quantity like this, it's pretty much going up. And like I said, max rarity for Crossheart, especially for max rarity in this deck, is actually quite cheaper. Not anymore because, you know, pre-release stamp Shouty Boy is way too expensive. So that is how we're going to deal with that. Then Guillemon X Antibody X Record pre-release stamps. This is not because of Guillemon support. I am banking on this. I think it's Doro Brick, as always, trying to do this, and it got bought out finally. People are probably testing for Doro Brick, and ends up being that it's a really good, solid contender in the meta. As long as the deck goes off, it has quite a potential smashing through your opponent. So this is what you're going to be dealing with, is Doro Brickmon's pressure. And I think seeing it at 34 sold, 21 sold, this card was quite expensive even earlier. And to be honest with you, $20 now reaching into the $40, $50 range, almost $60 range. It's just anybody's fair game at this point. X Antibody, X Record is just how it goes. Then on the Europe market side, we're looking at least a solid contender here in the $5 range, close to $6. Majority of it's in €6. So $6, €6. It's going up. As you can tell, there's only so many stocks left on the market here. And once they're gone, they're gone. They're going to be very expensive. And that's just how that's going to play the game. We'll have to see if Doro Brickmon lives up to the hype. Next card, though, is Metal Greymon Alternate Art Classic Collection EX01. This card is going down. This card is played at a 1-of in Machinedramon, and some lists do play this for the Metal Greymon in, guess what? You're going to guess what? In War Greymon still, just for that piercing effect. Really does help out. And outside of that, you're looking like $18 for its alternate art, which isn't bad. And if we look at the recently sold, it looks like in $18 is people where they want to kind of pick it up. And that's not terrible in pricing. I expect this to keep going down, especially even if you're using this in Machinedramon, it's a 1-of. You don't really use this as multiple copies. On Europe side, same thing, it's trending down, but they're kind of in a buyout status as well. I know this seems very interesting that multiple cards I've talked about are on low quantity stocks. And that's just how you got to pick up the game here. Notice when cards are going up, and especially on the Europe side, once it reaches €20, I think if you guys are planning on selling your stuff, it might be worthwhile here. It's got at least a little bridge gap here, about $10 copies here. So just keep that on your radar as this keeps getting bought out. Might be a good time to move your Metal Greymons if you do not plan on playing Machinedramon. Then we have Tomon, the Tamer Party Volume 6 promo. This card finally getting some relief from that bloody $20 mark for the longest time. People are loading it up and looking like it's selling around the $13 range, 15, 16 very easily. So that's something to really think about. But right now on the market, we're looking at $12. I know there's only 100 sales on this, but when you get it past like a one seller, like brand fresh new, 100 sales isn't bad. They're especially just trying to get into the game of selling on the market. So that's just something to look at. Then Tomon from EXO2 going up like crazy, apparently. Just kidding. It's on the dirt cheap. There's nothing to really worry about on the Europe side. I mean, yes, they don't have a secondary page. They cap out at €5 and 39 cents. So that's something to really look at. Then we do have Viximon Alternate from Digital Hazard going down finally after that hypeness a while back, reaching up to $30. We're finally getting back into a little more acceptable range. I mean, yes, it's still like $20, but patience is the name of the game. Looking at it, most of the time, it's selling in the $20 range very easily. So that's just kind of where you're going at. I think we're looking at $21.88. So I think that's pretty acceptable. Then we have 18 euros. Well, close to 20 euros. So we're kind of in the ballpark with them. I mean, yes, I could say 18 euros, but I think 20 euros is kind of fine there. And it's going down. And that means on the Europe side, they'll probably reach a lower price than us before we reach it. So that might be a good sign for the Europe players to pick up once it becomes like a $15 card. Next, let's see. Black War Greymon X Antibody Dimensional Phase. Remember this thing being like $20? Well, this card has dipped a bit. And Simply Unlucky Games might be the winner here because they are located in California. So what people are probably trying to do is reach out to them and go like, hey, are you going to Nats? If you are, just bring my cards. That would make it a lot easier on worrying about ship day. And that could be a very viable thing. But I think $10 is a little high. I think it'll drop at least to 7 to 6 very easily. Especially since this card is a 2 of, not a 4 of mandatories. And similar to that, you also want to get the alternate art at points, because that one looks clean. But outside of that, I think the $10 range, I don't say jump on it, but just watch it carefully. Don't go rushing in. But people are buying these at the $10 range very easily, even at the 14. So that's just something to keep on your radar there. Then we have Black War Greymon X Antibody, $16. Well, 16 euros and 90 cents. Roughly, it's in the same boat. It's got the low end about 13 euros, which isn't bad, I think, but it's going to come down. There's no way it's going to hold these high prices, so don't go rushing on it. Beelzemon Alternate Art from Digital Hazard EXO2 going up. This card is a mandatory 4 of in any Beelzemon deck going forwards. Just the way it can, you stay your turn when digivolving, you get to at least pop something. And then when attacking, it's not once per turn. So if you can multi-attack, anything like that, you could get rid of double protections on certain Digimon. Looking at you, Black War Greymon, or aka War Greymon in general. So if you can get rid of double their protections, they're in a bad spot. And that's why this card is taking up such a high resolution here. Just because it's such a good card and it can double pop by itself. Which is very important to keep in mind. It's looking like in the $50 range very easily. Let's take a look on the Europe market. I know this card was kind of very low stock a while back. Now it's kind of fixing itself at 42 euros, close to the 60 euro mark, I would say. But it is classified going down, which is good to see. We need Beelzemon to be a little bit cheaper in other countries and stuff like that. Actually, just in generalization, this card should be a lot cheaper. Then we got Hero, the official tournament pack volume, going down. This card is going to be mandatory in your Digimon decks once Rising Wind comes through, especially since there was no announcement of a reprint for this card, which is funny because I would reprint something like this, like they did with the Gemamon and, Angoramon and Jellymon, we'll have to see if they give the Tamers and alternate art another way of getting it. But looking at it right now, people are buying in the $14 range very easily. And I think that's just where it's going to hold for now. It'll probably come down a little bit more, but outside of that, I think 14 is just where it's going to hold for now. And then on the Europe side, holding in the €8 range, which isn't bad actually. You can see there's a lot of €8 holding strong here. I don't think that's terrible. Then we do have Gaomon alternate art X Gaomon alternate art X record BT-9. So going up to $31.82. People are buying this left and right. It actually only has 8 listings left. And it is a 2 of. If you want a max rarity this, expect to be paying arm and a leg right now for just 2 copies. Then you know that by the time EX4 runs around, this card, aka deck, gets another version of itself that be able to get into itself. And that's just ridiculous. And it's just going to be very cheap to do. So something to think about there is that you're going to expect this card to stay high. There's just no reason. It'll probably dip for a little bit once we get into BT-12, but then it'll just revamp back up once we get closer to EX4. On the Europe side, though, we're looking at a increase at €36 and on a low stock margin as well. We're looking at €40. I would say is mostly where they're trying to go. They're trying to bring it down a little bit to €35, but €40 is kind of where it's kind of hovering between €50 and €35. It's kind of just how the market's holding on the Europe side. Then we have Bellastar alternate double diamond going down, boys and girls. Something to keep on your back burner is Bellastar is still relatively playable in this format. Going into BT-11, it just has a lot of control aspects that really does help out. And I mean, look at it, $57, $58, kind of just holding strong in the 50 range. And I won't see this card probably go down for a long while. Going down crazily, shall I say. Europe side, same thing. They're kind of in the same ballpark in the euros, like €50, €45. Kind of going down as well, but nothing too crazy. Then we get to Imperial Digimon Fighter Mode Dragonic Roar EX03. Going down, finally, after so long. This card just doesn't explain being expensive, and to be honest with you, I expect this to come down further. Not to buy into it right now. Just let it keep falling down. People are buying in the 19 range, 18 range very easily, but I wouldn't buy into it, personally. Then we have the alternate art in going down as well, hitting into $22.96. I wouldn't go for the light play. I mean, near mints in the 25 range. Not terrible, actually. And then we got basically up on the Europe side, €17, which isn't bad. €20 is what the graph is saying, but €21.50. €21.50 is kind of just where it wants to hover around. I think this is a good low end, but we'll have to see what the alternate art looking like. Similar in the same category. They're only like a few dollars apart, which isn't bad. I mean, €20 isn't terrible for this. I think max rarity wise, that's not bad, especially for a card of 3 of. Then Metal Greymon Alterius Mode digital promotional card, $17 for just even near mint foils and regular one. Just pick up the foils at that point, to be honest with you. People are picking this up, but this card is only going to be like a 1 of, maybe a 2 of, but after BT-12, this card just disappears out of the deck because there's just no point. Just a 2 cost evolve is too expensive. Even if it gives a small protection, it's not worth it. And then on the Europe side, tanking hard, €9. But bought out in the regular art. It's looking like someone picked up a lot of copies recently, but we're in the €13 range. So let's see what the foil is doing now. Ooh, it's skyrocketing, 18. So same thing, it just spiked up again. So I don't know why, but we'll have to see if that's going to matter much. So guys, what did you think of this market watch? Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and peace.